Hi, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to have a coding exercise with respect to chain map in Python. So we are going to talk about variable scope resolution. We are going to have three different scope resolutions, one for local, one for global, and then the last one for built-in. So a chain map can be used to simulate variable scope resolution in Python where local variables override global variables, which in turn override the built-in variable. Let me illustrate it with this example. First of all, we are importing the chain map from the collection module. So here we are having the built-in scope. So the built-in scope, this is the default values that we are having here. These are the default values in this built-in scope. So we are having the max value 100 and we are having the mean value, which is 0. But we want to have global and local scope as well. So in the global scope, we are going to have the max value, which is 50. So when we are having the global scope with the same key, which is the max value, we are going to have this let's say variable, this key of this dictionary overriding this key, okay? Because we are having global that overrides the built-in scope, and we are having a local that is going to override the global and the built-in scope. So for the local, we are having the max value here. So the max value 25 is going to override the global scope key max value, which was itself overriding the max value from the built-in scope. And here we also have the current value keyword. So the current value keyword only shows up here in the local scope. For the global scope, we are having only the max value, which is going to override this built-in max value, and which is going to be overridden by the local scope max value. And also we are having a mean value that shows up here only and has the value 0. So now we would like to have the priority of the local scope, then the global scope, and then the built-in scope. In order to have this, we are using a chain map to combine these three dictionaries. So the local, global, and built-in, and the chain map name is the scope. So now if we are going to have the max value being printed in the being printed out in the terminal or in the output, we write down the key called max value and the name of our chain map, which is scope. Then when we are having this one, we are going to have the number 25 in the output from the local scope. Why? Because we are having a dictionary, a chain map, let's say, containing all these three dictionaries. And because first we are having the local scope dictionary there, it is going to use the first max value that it sees. So this is 25 that it is going to be shown in the output. So max value key from the local, from the scope chain map. Then we are going to have the mean value from the scope chain map. So mean value, we know that it's not going to be in the local scope because we don't have it. In the global scope, we don't have it. In the built-in scope, we have the mean. So the 0 is going to be printed in the output. And finally, we are having the current value, which is 10, and it is only defined in the local scope dictionary. So it is going to print number 10 in the output. So when we run the code, we see the max value is 25, exactly the max value, the value for the max value keyword from the local scope is printed in the output. Then we are having the mean value, which is 0 here. And then we are having the current value, which is 10 as we expected. Let me first print uh, our chain map here. This is our chain map. So I'm going to print scope. So when I run the code, we see the scope in the printing in the terminal. So first, because we are having for the chain map to create it, we combine first the local dictionary then the global scope dictionary, and then the built-in scope dictionary. So this is the local, this is the global, and this is the built-in dictionary, that all of them are combined to create our chain map. Okay, so this is why when we are having the max value key being printed from the scope chain map, this is the max value, this is max value, and this is max value. So there are three keys with max value name in this chain map distributed in three different dictionaries. However, the first one that the chain map sees is going to be the output. So this is the first max value that the chain map finds when we call it. So, and its value is 25. So this is why 25 is printed in the output. So this max value overrides this one and this one. Then we would like to have the mean value. So the compiler starts from left. The mean value, do we have it here? No, here, no, here, no, here, no. But here we are having it, mean value. So the mean value is being printed in the output. Then we are having the current value. So here it's not there. The current value is here. So 10 is printed in the output. So the first one that the compiler sees as we move forward from left is going to be printed in the output based on the name of the key. So for example, the key called max value from the scope chain map. So this is the scope chain map. The max value, the first one is 25. This is why 25 is printed in the output. So this is a good example of how variable scope resolution can be performed and can be taken care of using chain maps. Thank you for watching.